I talked with Mr. Joe Mullins at the 2016 IBMA. He is the IBMA Board Chair, a radio personality, and in Joe Mullins and the Radio Ramblers. Listen on to see what I had to ask. I'm here at IBMA with Mr. Joe Mullins. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Lillian. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad you're part of the association.
So, yesterday you were voted the IBMA Board Chair. What goals do you have to better the bluegrass community?
Oh, the bluegrass community is so healthy and prosperous, has grown so much. I've been a member 25 years, and one of my main current goals is to increase our membership. We have a healthy membership, but it's smaller than it should be. These days there are more bands, more good musicians, more record labels, more radio programs, more journalists and media people like yourself, and we need more members. And it's not so that we have more money, but it's so that we can continue to spread the wealth and that we can rise the tide for professionalism and make certain that our niche music keeps getting bigger.
So how are you going to try to reach younger people?
Well, we're doing a lot to reach younger people now. There are so many college programs that include bluegrass curriculum, and just this past year the board elected to give all of them their first year membership for free. So when you get into a college program, you're there for free. There is youth membership that's very affordable now, and there's a youth council that promote youth activities for World of Bluegrass Week already. And we have the Foundation for Bluegrass Music is a charitable arm of IBMA, and we have funds that are available for grants and scholarships to help bluegrass in the schools programs, whether it be public schools, private schools, elementary, middle, or high schools. There's a big variety of programs that are offered to kids, and IBMA has a way to support those.
So you've received many IBMA nominations in your career. What's it like getting these nominations and these awards?
It's encouraging. If you're blessed to have opportunity to create recordings or to learn an instrument or to sing a song that is appreciated by the bluegrass community, when it gets played nationally on the radio, and when folks request it when you go out and do personal appearances, and then when your music or your band or your craft gets recognized by your peers, and that's it. The professional voting members of our association, they're the ones that nominate their top picks annually in all the categories, and they're the ones that vote, cast their ballots. It's very encouraging. Rewarding is also another word you can use, but the encouragement of being nominated, it really helps. It makes you want to play a little better and sing a little better and look a little better each time you go on stage when you know you're making a difference.
So what was it like the first time you ever heard yourself playing on the radio?
I can barely remember that because I was blessed to get started at a very young age. My dad was a radio broadcaster for his whole lifetime and a good fiddle player. And I started on radio as a teenager and probably performed on the radio with an instrument in my hand the first time when I was about 17 or 18 years old. And it was pretty doggone exciting. A few years later, I was fortunate to buy my first radio station. I own a small network of stations in Ohio. And one of the coolest things was the first time I put the Radio Ramblers together, and we did a live broadcast in front of an audience on our radio station. That's a lot of fun because it's kind of the foundation of our business. You go all the way back to the beginnings of the radio industry. Radio industry, as we know it, really got established in the 1920s and 30s. There came the Monroe brothers and the Stanley brothers in the 30s and the 40s, and they all had a home base of a radio station, and they all honed their craft. They all learned how to play and sing and perform and being live on the radio every day. And I'm fortunate I've had a background that includes that. So it's really exciting.
Definitely. You mentioned that your father had a radio business, and now you do. How have you seen the radio business change over the years?
Oh, it's changed dramatically. Mainly digital technology is one of the things. As far as the hands-on part of being in a radio studio, I started out when you had two record players and you queued up albums on a turntable. And now you get CDs and you don't even have to use those. You can load them all into a computer and just point and shoot. And besides the technological advances in broadcasting, there are more listening choices than ever I started in radio when it was either AM or FM, period. No internet, no satellite, no iPod. So the competition is much more fierce, but competition has made everybody get the job done at creating better programming.
Definitely. What's it like? How does it affect your music, being a radio personality and doing music?
Well, I joke around with a lot of audiences, and I learned at a young age that if you want to hear your music on the radio, it's easiest if you're on the station. But it's helped me be comfortable behind a microphone. I enjoy engaging an audience. In the Radio Ramblers this past decade, we've been blessed to play many small events, for 50 or 100 people, and some big events for, several thousand people. And I'm comfortable at trying to engage an audience and keep them engaged, whether we're playing, singing, or there's a pause in the show and I'm talking. So that's really benefited me. And also, I think it's keened my listening skills to where when we go on stage or when we put an album together, a record together, a CD together, I don't want every song to sound the same. You want a good variety. You want fast songs, you want slow songs, and you want a variety of vocal combinations. So all these years in radio, it's given me a pretty good ear for finding a good song and putting together a good show.
Definitely. I was wondering, what got you into bluegrass music? What got you started?
Well, I mentioned my dad, and he was a great broadcaster. He played bluegrass on the radio, commercial radio, in a very large radio station in Ohio. So I heard it from an early age. Plus, he was a really good fiddle player. I saw great bluegrass entertainment regularly and had a house full of great records and musicians all the time. So it was just part of life. And I started playing guitar when I was just a little kid. Really gravitated to the banjo when I was about 13 years old.
So if you could go back in time and give a younger you advice, what would you say? Sorry.
It's just music. Don't make it life itself. Be serious about learning how to play good and sing good, but don't take yourself too serious, and don't be so zealous and intense as a musician that you stop living life, or that you get your priorities out of line. You still have to be a good human being, even if you're a good musician. And don't forget that part of it. Don't forget to have fun. I was so intense when I was young, sometimes it wasn't fun. But it's fun. If you're blessed to have opportunity to create music that connects people, enjoy it. Don't take yourself too seriously.
So my podcast is called I Had to Ask. What question do you wish people had to ask you in interviews?
Oh boy. What do I wish I had to ask? What's my favorite food?
Well, what is your favorite food?
Oh, I like my wife's cooking awful. What's the funnest gig we get to play? And so far, it's got me the Grand Ole Opry. It's so very exciting. As a broadcaster and a musician, we've played we've played fun shows at small venues in the middle of nowhere for 100 people. But when you've grown up being on stage and on the radio, to be on the Grand Ole Opry is just over the top. And we always love it when we get to do it. It's a couple times a year, and we always take advantage of it.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell my listeners?
You're great. And if I still own radio stations, when you get done with college, come look me up. I got a job for you.
Thanks for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Stay tuned as we do more IBMA press coverage. Thanks for listening to I Had to Ask.